Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to France in the most French weather you can possibly get as the drivers leave the garages for the first time in this session. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alex Sky. This is Logistical Nightmare Racing, and this is the third to last round of the PC ACC season. You can see a Ferrari desperately trying to get heat into the tyres, and he hasn't even got out onto the track yet. I couldn't quite see who that was. A very difficult session tonight for our drivers currently watching the 42 Bentley just circulating on the warm-up lap. Ricard, a difficult track in the best of circumstances, as it is used for, or has been used, and since it got its license for testing cars. Between P1 to Formula 1, Paul Ricard has been used as the testing site for the most infamous and the fastest cars in the world. Tonight, we don't quite have those cars. What we do have is some of the fastest drivers from Logistical Nightmare Racing, and they do battle in the most inclement of conditions. Rain is forecast for the entirety of the race, so we have seen who has the pace in the dry, but who has the confidence in the chassis in these wet conditions, and who can make the most of any dry line that might form. We can well imagine that in the later stages of the race, corners like the last one here at Virage du Pont will certainly have a dry line, which will either be tearing up wet tyres or it will be giving the drivers a little bit too much confidence. Down into turn 1 here, I can very well imagine they're emerging a dry line as well, especially if they are up to their usual standard of driving, being able to follow each other processionally through these difficult complexes. Cars to be keeping eyes on are obviously the GPX racing car of Stephen Wessels, currently going down the Mistral for the first of his flying laps. And I was told pre-race to keep an eye out for the Porsches at the end of the Mistral straight. Perhaps there is some handling characteristics that I should be made aware of, but I can only imagine that the reason that would happen is if they were braking too late. Easily done though. Let off the brake before you get into the corner. Bentley getting a big old kick of understeer. Sean Shutter there getting it all very right as they go through Signa. So we will have to pay attention to what's going on in the race. Time starting to come in. 1:59 from Wessels is an astonishing opening gambit in these wet conditions. This is a fast time generally, but it's a fast time in these conditions as well. That's mad. Astride him in the 394 Aston Martin. It's expecting the Aston with that Mercedes power to be very fast as well. And the 13 of Shutter will get to third position provisionally. Still 5 minutes remaining, so lots of time for the drivers to get in perhaps 2 flying laps. I would suggest possibly 3. Possibly, if they are tidy. Bentley coming down now into Virage de Hotel. We're just going to call that Hotel because we can. And De Camp at the very bottom of the circuit. Yeah, the Astons, with the amount of straight line speed that the Astons have, we should be looking at a fairly interesting race. If they can hold on to that Porsche... Oh, good to hear you're around at least, Robin. We will miss you tonight, but I don't think you'll be regretting your decision on which event you're missing. The drivers are going to be in for a hell of a show. Yeah, this Aston Martin is demonstrably quick down the straights. If Stridham maintains his position where he is, and if he can hold on to the back of that Porsche through Sector 1, we could well have a big disruptive fight for the lead coming on to the Mistral Straight. So Wessels is going to have... Is it Wessels or Vessels? I can't remember his nationality. But it is going to be an astonishing race, full of intrigue, and with 3 minutes left, let us see who can win out the day. Stridham is to the top of the timing screens with a 158.9. That Aston Martin is on fire. Somebody put that 394 car out because the livery looks incredible, but the pace is hot. There is response from Wessels. He's 4/10 up at the moment as he comes onto the Mistral Straight here. Here's Wessels. Thank you very much. Once Wessels has finished this lap, this is going to be... Actually, I like the Porsche. Sue me. You have to hold off so much, and the power diff on the Porsche as well is a little bit too locked, but inducing a little bit of power on understeer. But I'm sure that Wessels is doing that to cope with the conditions rather than anything else. That's all this is at the moment, is car management. And I'm afraid you're going to get an awful noise for just a second, as I still haven't fixed that setting on my PC. Ooh, wipers turned off. For Wessels. Is this on purpose, or is this by accident? Oh, he missed out on pole. This will be his final lap for Wessels. What can he do in the dying moments? He needs to be a 10th up on his previous lap. But Stridham is going faster as well. Wilfred Robson in the GTR and the 764. That's a wonderful livery, to be fair. I do like that. Deadman Racing 764 car. I'm trying to think of what livery that puts me in mind of, and I can't quite remember. But I will do my best. I've also just realised that I forgot to update something that I should have. So I will fix that and then get back onto describing the action. Robson, it looks like that GTR is a little bit of a handful. So I believe we might well need to give that GTR a little bit of time and space to get used to the conditions. There we go. It's fine, we're okay, everything is good. And can carry on as normal. Nobrega is struggling, yes. Oh, he hasn't set a representative lap time as well. Could this be drama for the number 70 car? Let's keep an eye on him as he comes around the final lap. He is 3.7 seconds off. Is that 720S going to survive 4th position for De Nobrega, pulling it home right when it counted. Doing a proper Hamilton job there. Heineke was running faster. Greening is half a second up in that 93 Ferrari coming into the final sector. This could be a dramatic raise up the grid for Greening. All he had to do was get the throttle down out of the corner. More complicated than it sounds. 6th place for the 93 Ferrari. Paul Venter in the 42 car will come out of the final corner as well. 7/10 up and goes no faster. I think he was 9th. He did jump up to 9th. And Van der Merwe, Johannes will circulate round and push Paul Venter out to 9th position. Qualifying is over, and I can actually use the camera mode that I love to use so much. And thankfully, with all of our drivers lined up nice and neatly on the grid here, as they make their last setups, let us have one very good look at the competitors for this evening. First, for the pole position for Sean Stridham. Excellent showing by that 394. Pushed out Stephen Wessels by 7/100ths of a second in the end. Ryan Barrington-Smith, ever the picture of consistency, 3rd position in that 74 car, is going to do his championship hopes the most of favours. The number 70 of Tristan Dinobrega will start 4th. Is good enough for where he needs to be, but he'll be hoping to make his way further up the field. Sean Schutter in 5th in the 13 car, and 6th will be Neil Greening in that Sky liveried Ferrari. 7th will be Jacques Vermeulen in the 35 BMW, first of the BMWs on the field, and the only one as well, with Chris Heineke, who was so dominant in the early part of the season, down to 8th position. Johannes Van der Merwe will start the 67 NSX from 9th position, and Paul Venter in the 42 will start 10th. Jonathan Bentz in the 310 Bentley will start 11th, and 12th will be Gerrit Jansen van Vuren in the 6 Ferrari. Number 14, it will be in 13th for Quentin Stein. 14th will be Wilfred Robson in that 764 Nissan GTR, and Karl Petzer will round out the field for tonight in that 122 Porsche, I think it was. Yes, that tiny little glimpse that I got while I was reading out the names will be enough as the drivers begin their warm-up lap. There is a lot of weaving going on. I am surprised to see that, to be perfectly honest. I could imagine there's a lot of brake riding happening, but not so much on the tyre warming front. Oh, as the Audi gets it all very wrong. Barrington-Smith having a big old wiggle there. Now's the time to have it on the formation lap, and because of the no collision, he will retain his starting position. Championship standings as they stand. I'm just going to fix that. Oh man, there we go. Tristan Dinobrega is leading the way on 128 points. Bashir Jadwat has made his way all the way to 2nd, tying with Neil Greening at the moment in the Ferrari for 2nd and 3rd positions respectively. Ethan Rutter is a very quiet performing 4th position, but also missing from tonight. Neil Greening is the only driver who can challenge Dinobrega in the slightest, who is competing tonight. Ryan Barrington-Smith has the opportunity to leapfrog Chris Heineke in the championships to take up 4th position. With 2 rounds to go, that Audi is looking mighty, mighty strong. Gerrit Jansen van Vuren, who is also a picture of consistency. Currently in 6th position in the championship. 12th has some work to do, but everything is possible when the rain starts falling. Other things worth looking at, Johannes van der Merwe, the only van der Merwe that we have joining us tonight, as Robin has an evening off, is 11th in the championship and could stand to gain some places in that NSX Evo. Great to see the NSX being represented here as well. Once again, thank you to the patrons and subscribers of the channel and of the community. Your donations help keep all of this running smoothly so that Sharks, funnily enough, amongst others, can keep everything running smoothly in these championships and even hosting the championships as well. So thank you very much for that. As we come down into the final few complexes, I think this is Bendor. It is, yes, as they come through the long right-hander. We'll have to... The qualifying session is the reason why I do love these short and snappy qualifying sessions. We did not have a chance even to do an on-board lap to take you around this absolutely wonderful, and it is wonderful. I hate all of the F1, the detractors from F1. This is an excellent circuit. It is utterly technical and has so much character, not least of which being defined by the ribbons of tarmac on the outside, which is its own challenge. We may have an opportunity to get into the race. We then go to our helicam to get the best perspective. The lights have already gone green. The green flags are out, and a very clean start up the front end of the field into braking into turn 1. The McLaren might possibly take third. Round the outside of the Audi goes Dino Braga, and third position, but the Audi could come back. BMW is just having a little moment off in the outside. Will Barrington Smith will yield. But what do we have going on further down? 93 has... Is it Vermeulen? Who has... As they go through the first split, everything, what you're seeing there is what I'm seeing on my timing screens as well. So I can't help anybody. 90, I do believe that Greening has fallen back. He has, back into the grips of Heinecker. Heinecker, who then pushes Paul Venter off the track at, we are at De La Seine. The NSX is blisteringly fast in a straight line, as these two had issues getting onto the straight and will take the lead. The 394 of Stridham is in the lead as they come down to Signa for the first time under race conditions. Astonishing. I did say this was going to be a bit of an upset. How fast they get around this track as well is absolutely ridiculous for GT3 cars. What a start to the race, and we still have lots of fighting going on. The NSX isn't that quick in the corners, but my goodness, this car the car handles really strangely, but it's so good. Heinecker making use of the extended tarmac runoff. Notice how he didn't gain any position there. He actually ended up losing it, even though he technically did kind of cut the right-hand kink. Down into Delatour comes the 67. Dupont for the final time of asking, and can that NSX get the power down? He does. He pulls straight to the other side of the track to try and break the toe of the Ferrari behind, but the Ferrari goes with him. Further behind, Heinecker has a tiny bit of space. Now, I love wet racing. I love racing in the rain, and I love commentating over it even more. This is absolutely insane. Dino Braga still under pressure from the 74 Audi, who in turn is pressuring Wessels. So now the benefit that the Porsche has in the corners all comes undone, and just because we can, let's jump on board with the Porsche as we go out onto the Mistral straight and watch as the Aston Martin pulls a gap in a straight line. The Aston might not have it in the corners, But where it counts, it just has the extra 1 to 2 miles per hour, and he could be under pressure from the McLaren if Dinobrega doesn't run out of gears. You can just see the Porsche falling back, relatively speaking, in between the two cars. This is going to be the battle of the race as he runs super wide and again loses even more time. And now Tristan Dinobrega has the opportunity to look into Besson, the long, achingly long, tightening double right-hander at the bottom end of the circuit, and the 394 takes an odd line into Bendor, but that will give him all the traction he needs, even on the curbs on the way out. The Porsche is very, very quick through this complicated, undulating part of the track. Down onto the start-finish straight again they come. And this is your battle for the lead. The Porsche has the advantage off of the final hairpin. 394 goes to defend, but there is no need. Not yet there isn't, and it could be in Stridom's benefit here to attempt to back the Porsche as much as he can into the 70 car. I'm sure he's not thinking of that. But Stridom has a lot to gain from that 22 car falling back, but the 70 car is in the lead of the championship. This is major calculations that Stridom's having to do at 180 miles per hour back in the final couple of corners, and you can see they're all concertinaing up as they come onto the straight. Let's get perhaps the best shot of this from the 74 car. Just sitting back and watching the three leaders at the moment. He has every opportunity here to make the position for third as he switches into whatever map it is that these go to at the very top of their rev range. McLaren's closed on the Porsche in front. The cone flies off the front splitter of Dinobrega. McLaren hits the apex first and then jinks wide. I think that was a little bit of oversteer from the 70 car. Perhaps a little bit of dry tuning being imported to this McLaren's wet setup. On the brakes, the Audi is astonishingly good. The Porsche too. The lead battle here separates up through Sector 3 into these two battles. Porsche versus Aston Martin. Audi versus McLaren. It's almost a shame there isn't a Ferrari here. But just in case you were worried, there is a Porsche waiting in the wings in the form of Sean Shutter, who is waiting for any issue that might befall these leading four cars. As the gap widens out ever so slightly, let's have a quick look at some other battles. As BMW of Vermeulen is on the defensive from the 93 of Greening, with Paul Venter in the background as well, looking to make positions. This is astonishingly slightly further back from our leading battle, but there are fights up and down this field. This is great racing. Absolutely brilliant. Don't worry, I am keeping an eye on the gap to the leaders as well. This is a very important fight though, as the Ferrari is the fastest in a straight line of any of the GT3 cars. The BMW is fairly off balance up in the draft. Neil Greening has a fantastic opportunity, a wipe to the inside for the BMW. This is something that we see in real life racing all the time, is drivers switching sides to try and break the toe. But now the Ferrari has the opportunity. BMW is defensive and manages to stay in front. Brilliant driving, but now the Bentley has an opportunity. Coming down into Besson, the Ferrari goes defensive and the Bentley gives way for now, but can the Ferrari get back into the apex? The 42 is alongside. He has right of way now, and the Ferrari will have to give way. That is Paul Venter 1, Neil Greening 0. Heineke getting a 15-second penalty. I wonder what that was for. Oh, is it for shoving someone off the track at Sembom? I dare say that might have been. Battle for the lead into turn 1, as tight as it has been. GPX Racing Porsche versus Stridham in the 394 Aston Martin. And right up behind as well, that 70 car seems to have made a break from Barrington Smith and really set off in pursuit. Maybe the tyres have come up on that 70 car now. Look at the traction and the grip of the McLaren behind. 22 car is starting to look under pressure from the champion-elect of Tristan Di Nobrega out onto the Mistral Straight, and do you dare oppose that black and red McLaren? He's weaving. That's not the best thing to do to get the best top speed, but we know this Porsche is not the fastest in a straight line. Watch for the McLaren to potentially disappear underneath the rear wing. It's just in that final stage. Big wiggle from the 70 car. But a very different... Oh, a very different line. I don't think Di Nobrega meant that. And he'll retain his position. He'll retain the position. But will lose valuable tenths of a second in that podium fight. That opens up the opportunity for the Porsche to fight, and Wessels takes absolutely no time to press the advantage of not having to look in his rearview mirrors, and is on the bumper of Stridham. Out of DuPont they come. And the traction for that Porsche, engine still being very much over the rear axle, is outweighed by the sheer horsepower of the Mercedes engine in the front of that Aston Martin. I heard a drop of revs. Where's that Aston Martin gone? No, it's okay. On the brakes. This is the risk for Stridham here, is that the 22 car gets in front and just parks it where he can get away from the corners, but the Aston Martin just can't. Out onto the Mistral Straight again. This is the place where the drivers take a breath, but it is some of the most action that you'll see. Porsche on Audi. Audi has fallen back into the clutches of the number 13 car. That beasting liveried number 13 might not have higher speed than the McLaren and the Aston Martin, but it can certainly compete with the Audi. Up in the draft, the 13 looks as they come into Signa Corner. Up the inside he looks. Was not able to make it happen, but the 74 car went too defensive, mirroring what Di Nobrega did last time round, and in the end was an easy pass for the 13, as long as he can defend that position. What's going on here then? I see... Oh no! 13 having to go defensive, takes a wide line into the final corner. This is the problem, is that when you go defensive into DuPont, you have to get the traction down really early. He was able to do it. What's up with that Audi? Or has he just balked off the final corner? I feel like the Ryan Barrington-Smith has perhaps pushed a little bit too hard on those wet tyres in the early part of the race. The fight at the front seems to be splitting up ever so slightly for the time being. Perhaps Stephen Wessels has given up on the idea of making it past the 394 car. And obviously with with the weather being so inclement, wet tyres are going to make an enormous difference. The longer you can make these tyres last, the later you make your pit stop in this race, the faster you will be in your final sector. It's just a case of making those tyres hold on. I think that's what Dino Brega has worked out as well. I think Dino Brega has worked out that he can pull a fast one on both these leaders by making the tyres last a little bit longer and having fresher tyres come the end of the race. 42 on the defensive again from the 93 Ferrari. This battle that swapped the cars earlier on still has Chris Heinecker, no, Van der Merwe behind. That's a fairly reasonable range. Yeah, the gap has dropped back. Oh, as here we go. It went down to 0.1 of a second for just a second there. Into turn 1, the 394 car. Let's jump inside with the Aston Martin for just a second. See that glorified Beetle in the rearview mirror. It looks as though... Give me your opinions in chat. I'm not seeing oversteer. What I'm seeing is four-wheel float, like a floating rear end. So the Aston Martin, this is something you can't do in the Porsche. But the Aston Martin, there's not very much weight over the rear end compared to the mid and rear engine cars. So you can kind of stiffen up the rear axle to make it drift, so that it follows where you want the car to go. It's not great for tyre wear, but watch as he turns into Signa here. Halfway through the corner, gets on the power again. It seems to be tracking, it's true. Just in those slower corners. You see where he's switching the wheel slightly away from the apex. I think he's got that car set up to have a little bit of rear steer to it. There we go, look at that. Oh, I like that car. And it sounds excellent as well. We have the battle for the lead on our screens, so while under pressure, let's have a fantastic lap of Circuit Paul Ricard on board with your race leader, Sean Stridham. On the brakes into turn 1, second gear for turns 1 and 2. Same corners as I use for the Formula 1 track. Then down into second gear again for Hotel, this left-right, and then Du Camp is this right-hand kink here. Down to first gear, yep. Feather the throttle, try not to get the oversteer. Sembom is this long right-hander into this left-hand kink that takes you out onto the Mistral straight. And listen to that Aston Martin V8 wind out all 6 gears and cap out as much as he possibly can to keep ahead of that Porsche. It'll be down 2 gears in these wet conditions into Signa. And with a lapped car, we come into Buisson. Lots of action here already. A nice tight apex there. Goes right out wide. A little bit wider than he would have wanted, but the oversteeriness of the Aston Martin gets the nose back into the second apex and then back into the braking zone for Virage de Bendor. See how he's wrestling the car, not on the racing line. This long right-hand corner here then goes down into Virage de la Tour. This long left-hand corner, which you barely get to squirt the throttle at before you go into Virage du Pont, the final tightest corner on the track, and that gets you back out onto the start-finish straight and completed a lap of Circuit Paul Ricard. Not to forget that there are plenty of different configurations that you can use on this track. Again, its nature as a test track means that there is plenty of opportunity to change up the track layouts. So, Aston Martin leading the way, 22 Porsche falling away slightly. Dino Brega has fallen back to the tune of 4 seconds at this point in time. 5 seconds according to the gap at the line, and suddenly he's under pressure from the 13 and the 74. Shouldn't have any issue with either of them up this straight, but it looks as though that 70 car is not happy on those tyres for the time being. Perhaps, again, a little bit too aggressive on those wet tyres, and the conditions don't seem to be changing as well, but the track has gone from wet to damp. Audi switch places with the Porsche there, and they will switch back on the exit of Signa. 13 goes back through to try and take the fight to the McLaren. We also have... What's going on here? Oh, that's the timing screens being a bit weird and wrong. Bentley is behind the Ferrari again. Ferrari is very quick in a straight line. So that will be a pass made on the Missile Straight. Who needs DRS? Nope, let's get this one. Porsche still in the middle of these two race cars, separated by millimeters. The tiniest of taps perhaps on the 70 car, but the 70 is not getting traction down as much as he would like. The 13 car is alongside as they come across the line. Can he do anything into turn 1 for that yellow and black car? Round the outside, gives way and will fall back into line on the exit, but the 74 car has opportunity to get back up the inside, and that is the risk you take when you go for an attack. Side by side, they come into hotel. The 74 car will get on the brakes. Has he got enough rubber to get it stopped? Yes, he does. And again, both of these cars are going to have issues when they get onto the straights where they run out of speed, but perhaps the 70 car can drag them both along a little bit. Barrington Smith looks to the outside as they come into Signa. Nothing doing there yet. And down into Buisson as well. 70 car goes not defensive. 13's out wide, but that will give him opportunity to get the throttle back down, but perhaps taking a little bit of space. Let these two fight. There's no reason to make his life difficult yet, as the 74 car got a wicked drive off of Bendor there. Through De La Tour they come. Oh, what drama. I daren't say a word just in case I jinx them. The 74 car didn't quite get off the corner there as well as he could. The 70 car will stretch away. Perhaps the tyre pressures were a little bit too high for that number 70 car, and being able to bring them back into running in clear air has brought them back into their operating window. They are now 7 seconds. Oh, congratulations on the new family member, Raymond. You are absolutely forgiven for not being here for the birth of your child. Oh my goodness, wasn't it? What a very, very good excuse to have. Drive-throughs, because the pit entrance here is not fun. Heinecker is in the pits in the 96 Porsche. dipping a little bit early. Perhaps that was tyre life. Perhaps pressures were wrong. The Porsche has a run on the Audi, but it's a cone. And that at such high speeds with so little between these cars. The Audi steps out of the draft, goes side by side, and is classified ahead by 0.03 of a second. What can he do into Signa? Round the outside, the 70 car is going to stay on the track. The 74 car goes wide. 70 car defends from the 13. 74 goes for the apex, but can't do it because there is a McLaren on the inside. Tries to go all the way around and will keep it side by side. Excellent driving in awful conditions. They touch, and the 74 car gets a big... do you know what? I think that may have been netcode. Big old slide, well controlled by Barrington Smith there. Will lose out on third position, but will be able to... Where's Shutter here? Give the 13 car an opportunity to perhaps take the position from the 70 cars. McLaren's in the pits. McLaren is in the pits with more or less half distance. So that leaves the fight for third position left to these two. Now I wonder if there is any kind of overcut that these two can pull. Dino Brega is absolutely going to be aiming to get some hot laps in when he leaves the pits. What else do we have going on around the field? That is a race for position between the 42 car and Van der Merwe. Neil Greening, who was involved in this battle, has been pushed down the grid by his pit stop, but 2 a drive-through penalty, so I doubt that he's going to rejoin this fight anytime soon. I do believe that was right at the very end of the... And they're right at the end of the Mistral straight now. Into Signa they go. Porsche riding the inside curbs. Audi leaving them very much alone. Perhaps a driving style, perhaps a requirement of the car. The Audi is very, very, very pointy. We've said it many times before. What a race this is. What a race. Not to mention the fight. The top 8 cars have been in battles the entire time. And I think the only thing that has really held back the rest of the field from having any kind of say in these fights is purely accidents and slowing each other down from... Is that actually... I've just noticed on the Porsche, is that a... Oh no, I don't... No, it's not. I saw an aerial on the rear left quarter. I thought that maybe that was one of the aerials from a VW Golf, but it's not. It's too vertical. That's a shame. Just ever so slightly caught it. So Venter drops into the pits and out of the fight over 5th position. As does Stridham as well. The 394 car will get to midway through the race and cry time at the head of the field. This is going to be a very telling stop as Stridham gets off the pit limiter and back out into the race. Where is he going to filter in, and what can Wessels do now he's in clear air without the Aston Martin cramping his style? Stridham is, I imagine, going to drop, yeah, down to the top of the... So where is Dino Brega then? Dino Brega is there. I'm on the wrong camera set, so it's very difficult to see what's going on here. 12 seconds. So Dino Brega has pitted, and either through damage, perhaps that little touch between the Audi was registered by the 70 car. I mean, it wasn't even registered on my screen. It was only because of the reaction of the cars that I could tell that they'd made contact. Wessels into the pits, and Sean Shutter takes the lead of the race in the number 13 Porsche. Damage up the side of the yellow and black machine. But he will relish in this moment to potentially put a lap on Jacques Vermeulen, who gets out of the way in a big way. Great heads-up driving from Vermeulen. That's the one thing that this track is wonderful for, is being able to take off-track excursions to get out of the way of faster cars without losing any time. That Audi had an awful drive onto Mistral Straight there. Really did. Key questions now. Here is the 22 car. He stayed out one more lap. What could he do in one lap? He will get the hammer down. A drive-through for the 22 car. Wessels did not get it stopped in time, which is a shame. Where is Stridham? Stridham is gone. Stridham is so far up the road. That's astonishing. That is extraordinary pace from the Aston Martin. What we thought was going to close up the field has only opened it. And actually, where is Barrington Smith? Has Barrington Smith taken the lead? He has. What has happened to the 13 car? Sent for into the pits? No. That Audi is working. I'm astonished. So what has happened to that 13 car? We'll go to the replay and get to the 13. He was in front here. I can only imagine it was through Buisson. On the brake, gets a bit of understeer and a lot of oversteer. Oh, that was an enormous twitch for Shutter there. That's unfortunate. Just the tiniest of mistakes, and that's where these fights are at the moment. You make one mistake and you're in a whole lot of trouble. Speaking of in trouble, Wessels in front of Dino Brega is going to lose out. This is going to push him so far down the field. Where does he take his penalty? He keeps on turning around and will try and get on the brakes this time round. Definitely got it that time before the line. Tristan Dino Brega once again showing just how consistent that man is in all conditions. Also showing how good looking that McLaren 720S is. Not biased at all. No, I'm very biased. So, Barrington Smith has... sorry Sharks, what was the how to? Barrington Smith, now clear of the Porsche, has managed to eke out a 1.5 second gap. I feel as though that was the Porsche trying to get past the lapped BMW that went between them. But they have stops to do. They can't go till the end of the race on stint length. Shutter into the pits. The Porsche decides that it is enough, and I'm sure will also be trying to undercut Mr. Barrington Smith, who leads the way in the 74 car. It would be a work of genius if he were to get on the podium yet again. He's potentially in line for it. Potentially, if he can keep it all together. But out onto the Mistral straight on his own is not ideal for the Audi driver. Big old flash of the lights, I assume for a car in front? Or was he just saying hello to us? He may have just been saying hi to us. Much appreciated if so. That GTR looks as though he's going to try and take the leader again. That would be unwise. There we go. Drops back ever so slightly. Does the 764. Oh yeah, no, that is... Well, that is the benefit of an undercut. And it's especially effective in wet conditions. Because the tread really does die off on these wet tyres really quickly. So Barrington Smith is the last to pit. All eyes are on him leading the race, but those tyres will be starting to be a little bit upset that he hasn't taken them off yet. Into the pits comes the 74. Will he get down to the speed limit in time? Oh, it looks like he did. That was cutting it close. But now it is time for Dino Brega to see if his earlier pit stop has given him the advantage. Stridham will regain the lead by 13.3 seconds in the end. But all of the drivers, it's weird how these pit stops, normally the pit stops create absolute carnage when it comes to these races. But I think the driver we're looking for most is that 74 car. Where is the Audi? And how much does... Oh, 74's rolling. This is going to be close as the Audi pulls away from the pit lane. The 13 will see his target acquired in front. He has warmer tyres here than Barrington Smith does in front, but he's on board. He's on track for another third place finish and an astonishing record of consistency for both Dino Brega and Barrington Smith. And once again, the 74 car has overcut the 13 and has landed himself in so much space that he can run the car how he wants to. Further back, the NSX has jumped the 42. That will have been an on-track pass as well. So where on earth has that come as they come up onto the Mistral straight? Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, so he's in front a couple of laps ago. So it did happen a while ago. Oh, was it done in the pits? Bentley's all on his own. Oh, it was done in the pits. Oh, how galling for Venter. The NSX on strategy, getting track position. Now with Paul having so much work to do, I can well imagine that 22 car is going to interrupt this fight at some point in time. Oh my, this is... Oh no. Oh no, this has so much opportunity to go wrong. Your pole... Oh, where did Wessel start? He started second. The driver who started second, who won last time out, is catching on 6th and 5th positions. and has somehow got to make a pass with 0 advantage on the top speed. Maybe on the NSX, but not on this Bentley. Yet another opportunity to jump on board with this wonderful sounding Bentley Continental GT. If your heartbeats didn't jump a little at the opportunity that Venter has to keep Wessels behind, I dare say you aren't a racing fan. This is astonishing. The Porsche has a run so far and up in the draft of the Bentley. He's going to have some level of advantage. But the Bentley's got the NSX to drag off as well. Maybe not quite so obviously. GPX racing car just keeps looking to the inside, but it can't do it. It can't do it in a straight line. The Bentley will out-tow the Porsche, and coming into Signal Corner, they will remain 42 leads 22, but through the corner, the Bentley gives the space to the inside to the 22 car. I don't know if he necessarily wants to fight this, or if he can. Yes, he gives up the position. So, down 1 position for Paul Venter to 6th, and I can only imagine that NSX is going to fall ever so slightly by the wayside as well. A very lit up Stephen Wessels comes out of DuPont and sets his sights on that blue, purple, lilac. It's purple. I think it's purple. NSX of Van der Merwe. The Bentley just slid wide. There was nothing he could have done. And the 22 car has cooler tyres as well. 67 car has nothing to defend against as well. Gets on the brakes and concedes the line. I wonder if the 67 car is planning to get that position back. Yeah, I don't think the Bentley could do anything about that. I don't think the NSX can do anything about it either. Grief. How much traction does that Porsche have? And next on Wessel's hit list will be 4th place, the 13 car of Shutter. He only has, in 9 minutes and 14 seconds, a mere, I think it was 20 seconds last time, by... I don't think... Yeah, I can imagine the NSX is set up for speed. That's the only way it's keeping the Bentley behind. In through Signal we go, and all of the defensive work by Johannes now. Oh, the Porsche has a million miles of traction, and we saw earlier in the race that that Wessels has got the car set up so that it's very, very, very locky. That diff is probably spending a lot of its time in lock. Compared to what you would normally have is a fairly open diff on these cars, so that you can get these tighter corners. But the Porsche, you're keeping that engine in check. You've got to keep that block that's hanging out over the rear axle in check, otherwise it will catch you out. So that is what Heinecker, Shutter, as well as Wessels and Petzer are having this compat at the moment, is a back-to-front car, basically. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. What's going on here? Madness. Madness or Sparta, but no one's been kicked off a cliff yet. There's still time. There's still 7 minutes left. But obviously the cliff would be referring to whoever pitted first. And they run out of tyre. Opportunities then. If the Audi decides to spit Barrington Smith off the track, then then Shutter could be in with a podium on what I think what I think is his first Logistical Nightmare race. If I could type, that would be really handy as well. No, he's not on there, so obviously this is his first race, and a 4th position is a great showing for a first time of asking for any driver who doesn't necessarily know the complexion of a series. Through the final sector they go. Oh, the 67 went mega defensive on the exit there. Across the line, the 42 can't do anything about it yet. Who's cheering on Johannes? Johannes? Yeah. And who's cheering on Paul in this fight? I love me an NSX, but I also love me a Bentley. I am very, very torn at the moment as to who I want to see win this fight. On the brakes into Hotel, red roof on the Bentley, reflecting nicely on the cloudy sky. Seems to have a little bit more turn-in still for the yellow and black. Do you know what? I have to go. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Bentley because it does have a British flag on, and both of you have gone JJ, so I have to be contrary. Lovingly named Boatley, the Bentley GT3 car, looking as though it's going to be retired at the end of either 2022 or 2023. All support for the GT3 model will be dropped, and it is going to be missed sorely on GT3 fields. Very, very wide for the 42 car, but that will give him extra speed on the exit of Buisson there. Looks to the inside through Bendor, but can't make anything work yet. Through the final corners they come. That NSX either went mega defensive on the entrance or was just taking a very, very odd line. Over the start-finish line they come, separated by 0.3 of a second. Bentley looks to the inside. NSX doesn't try to defend. On the brakes, who can get it done? It looks like the NSX, shockingly, was able to keep it in front. I am very surprised by that. Yes, I am going to be so upset when there are no more Boatleys. Thankfully, we have sim racing. Thankfully, we do have sim racing as the 42 looks up the inside into Hotel. Once again, he's getting more aggressive now. He's running out of time, is Paul Venter. If he's going to make this work, he's got to make it work soon. Keeps a tighter line through Saint Bomb and runs wide onto the Mistral Straight. Oh, he'll get a track cut penalty for that, I would imagine. I'm astonished at how quick that NSX is in a straight line. There is no way that Honda should be that fast. Absolutely no way. Yeah, this is going to be way evasive action necessary by Venter that time around. That was the NSX braking way earlier than Paul was ever ready to brake, but this could be an opportunity. He now has a bit of space between himself and the NSX. He knows the strengths and the weaknesses of the Honda, and he's got every opportunity if he can keep that car together. Lovely kick of oversteer through Delatour. And out onto the start-finish straight. 1.3 seconds. Has the toe been broken? Can Venter regain that position? I'm very sorry. Very, very exciting. I just saw on the timing screens. On to the Mistral straight. The 74 is putting pressure on Dino Brega. This is a major upset in the dying moments of the race. Stridham is to the good of 20 seconds plus, but the Audi has a run on the outside coming down the Mistral straight into Signa corner for what can only be the second to last time. The Audi has it on the outside. He has the racing line. Lights are ablaze on the Audi. Can he keep it together into Buisson? This is astonishing performance from the 74 Audi. Runs super, super wide, but can get back into the apex. The 70 car is going to park on the inside. They make contact again for the second time in this race, but Dino Brega will give way, as that wouldn't have been a very clean pass, would it? There is so much performance going on here. That Audi is being driven off its tyres. For Barrington Smith to be able to take that 720S is astonishing pace in these late stages of the race. This is what Barrington Smith was doing. This was his entire game. Pit as late as you can, make the tyres last as long as you can, and then nail. Where's the McLaren gone? McLaren's dropped back behind Shutter. Dino Brega is off the podium. 90 seconds remaining in the session. We will have this lap. Let me just very quickly... What happened there? Oh, the 70 car let go. Very, very quick pirouette, and that's all it was. I will hold you back no more. Where is... Drive-through for Dino Brega? Oh, that's not good either. Sean's on the Mistral straight. Barrington Smith goes unchallenged to a second position. What a result for the Englishman. Englishman? Yeah, I've spoken to him before. Oh, now that's a question. No, he's South African. I'm very sorry, Ryan. I'm sure there's some British people up there in the championship. Oh well, I'm going absolutely insane. Don't worry about that, that's absolutely fine. What a race from Stridham. What a race from everybody. Oh, what's Dino Brega going to do? He's accrued a drive-through on the final lap of the race. He's got no pressure from behind in the form of Wessels. I wonder if he goes into the pits on the final lap that it will... judge him to have... okay, we'll have to see how that happens. In the meantime, Sean Stridham in the 394 Aston Martin will win at Paul Ricard. A maiden victory for the Aston Martin driver. Where is he? He has 26 points in his 17th overall, and to take this maiden victory is going to be insane. To an astonishing and hard fought for and well thought out second place in these awful conditions comes Ryan Barrington Smith in the 74 Audi. The number 13 will take home third. Tristan Dino Brega has 30 seconds. And it looks as though he's got some kind of issues. We will have donuts. Thank you very much, good sir. We will take donuts. Stephen Wessels will take home 5th position, and Johannes van der Merwe will lead Paul Venter across the line to take 6th and 7th respectively. 8th will be the 96 Porsche of Chris Heinecker, and Neil Greening will fight his way back to 9th position. Gerrit Jansen van Vuren will bring the 6 car home to 10th. Jacques Vermeulen will bring the Solve BMW just ahead of the Sol Nissan in 11th and 12th. Quentin Stein will come home 13th, and Kyle Petzer will bring the 122 Porsche home 5 laps down but good points made nonetheless. And by the way, I have no idea what's going on with the stripes there. It's doing something to ACC. What happened to Dinobrega in the end there? That to run out of grip like that is absolutely astonishing. Let me get into there, and I will speak. Thank goodness I can do this in order for once to our race winner, Sean Strider. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you so much. Wasn't easy, but at the end, was able to pull it through.
Yeah, you really don't know how to do things the easy way, do you? Starting the Aston Martin from pole position. How did it feel to take that pole? Did you have a feeling about the conditions before you started, or was it? Talk me through it.
Well, I knew from the beginning Wessels is not going to make it easy. I saw with practice beforehand that he was obviously up to pace. Just before we actually moved over to the qualifying server, I saw Wessels hitting a 158, a high 158. And at that stage, I was thinking in my mind, like, maybe I must just make sure I keep second place, stay close to him. And then I started to realize that Wessels is running more downforce setup. I could see with the last sector that he was way quicker than me. And obviously on the straight, the back straight, I was quite quicker than him. So as soon as I saw, okay, I've got, what was it, by 9 thousandths of a second, if I'm not mistaken, I've got pole position, then I knew, okay, somewhere I'm going to have to break the slipstream for the race, obviously to take the win. And unfortunate for Wessels for that, what, if I'm not mistaken, it was speeding in the pit lane.
Yes, yeah, he would have been.
Yeah, he would have been still right behind me. So it's not I would like to take a win, but you know what? Sometimes luck needs to be on someone's side.
Well, you say okay. So you say that it was the drive-through penalty that gave you. I don't think it was, because you pitted like a lap before, and in the time that between you pitting and him pitting on the next lap, you'd opened up that gap by about 6 seconds. Now that could have been through a dirty in lap from Stephen, but you still had the gap was about 10 seconds when he left the pits, and that was without the drive-through penalty. You had this race on lockdown since you went out.
Well, I must say I do enjoy wetness of a track. I like it when it's a bit of rain, even more rain. So yes, and with the Aston is usually a car that is quite stable in the wet. So that the main thing, when I saw that I also went into the pits and Wessels stayed out, I tried to concentrate then on my outlap, because I knew the tire temperatures are not going to be up to temp. So I really pushed on the outlet, but not too much. So I obviously lose control, just to get more of a gap. And yes, I was quite shocked to see that 10-second gap. I don't know, maybe it didn't stop nicely or correctly in his pit box, and it moves the car around first before it picks up. But yes, I enjoyed it a lot. It was really 50 minutes of fun, actually.
Yeah, no, it was great to commentate. You can probably hear my voice is a little bit sore from all of that shouting I just had to do. Thank you so much for making this probably one of the best races of the season so far. And it's great to hear. It's great to hear your voice in the com box as well. Congratulations on that win, and a pretty popular win this is as well for you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You have a lovely evening, my friend.
Same for you. Keep well.
See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Next into the com box is going to be the man who breaks... I don't know if I've been commentator cursing him or not, but I think he'll accept a second place over his run of third positions that he's had. If he's there... he's gone. Come on. You've muted yourself, mate. There you go.
There you go. Hello.
Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, and you?
Yeah, no, I'm doing absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. You, man, you had some pace at the end of the race there. You did.
Yeah, no, I decided to do the same strategy again. I pitted late and used the fresher tires at the end of the race.
Yeah, and it resulted in a very hard fought for and a very, very unlikely pass down the Mistral Straight on a McLaren 720S and Dino Brega, the championship leader.
Yeah, it was tough to get that move done. It was I was like catching slowly and slowly on those last laps, and I wasn't sure I was gonna make it all the way to him by the end of the race. I just got a bit lucky that he made a couple mistakes, just small mistakes at the last couple laps.
Well, and as soon as you got past him, that was a big mistake on the final corner at DuPont. Do you feel as though there was some error wash that off of your car that may have caused that, or he's just running out of tyre?
I know that, well, obviously he'd pitted earlier, so maybe there was a bit of tyre issues, but it was probably with him being right behind me, because the last probably 10 laps he'd been racing on his own, so I guess, yeah, just being behind someone, because I noticed, especially going through the fast right handoff the Mistral Straight, it's horrible if you're behind someone. I kept on understeering through that corner, so I assume it was probably that same issue that he had when he was behind me.
Yeah, just getting used to having that clear air. But second position is going to do your championship position absolutely all the favours. Like, oh man, I think you're going to be taking 32 points away from this race. And that is, have you done any of the maths on it at all yet?
I actually haven't done the maths. Normally I'm the type of guy that'll go and looking at what the points will be after the race, but today I just went and hoping to enjoy a race, and that's literally what happened. I had this race-long battle with Skitty and with Tristan, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. So it was such an awesome battle that carried on pretty much the whole race. The only time that we were apart was when we pitted. Otherwise, we were sharing the track the whole time. It was absolutely awesome.
Well, put it this way, you are going to leapfrog at least Chris Heinecker and then Ethan Rutter, I would suggest as well. Greening might be slightly out. You could be looking at the third position in the championship here, mate.
I really didn't think about that.
Second or third in the championship with this result. That final pass was a critical one, and not only that, it was a decisive and effective one. It was such a good pass. I can't commend you on enough, and I'll say the same to Tristan when I speak to him. But I absolutely can't commend both of you for the quality of driving that was.
Yeah, I know that was a really fun battle. I just decided I knew he was going to hold the inside line, and I knew that if I left it to the next lap, it was going to be the same situation. So I just decided I had to go around the outside and just try and hold it there. And luckily I managed to hold around the outside. But yeah, it was awesome, clean battle between us. Yes, there was a little bit of rubbing, but I mean, I was really happy with that battle. It was absolutely awesome to be a part of.
There was, before you pitted as well, you've just reminded me of contact. Was there actually contact between you two on the left-hander after the Mistral Straight?
Yes, yeah. So there was a little bit of contact. I went in a little bit hot, so I think that I was actually glad that I was the one who came off second best on that, because I think I went in a bit hot into that corner. I was just trying to get up his inside, and yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't. Well, it didn't. To me, from my screen, it didn't look as though you made contact. It looked as though you might have locked up the rear wheels or something, like as you say, going in a little bit too hot and getting on the brakes. I didn't realise there was actually contact made. But no.
Yeah, there was the slightest little bit of contact. That's all it was. It just managed to upset the front of my car, and it just spun me a little bit. Well, luckily I managed to just hold it.
Yeah, no. Again, excellent driving as well to hold it. I think that's probably going to be save of the day. Being able to keep that car on the straight and narrow, it really was a massive save.
I had to use my rally skills for that one.
Yeah. Oh, we can have a conversation about rallying sometime. Right, focus on the task at hand. Ryan, that was such an awesome second place. Hard fought for, but you really have outperformed that 74 car the whole season, and you've been dragging that Audi to places it really doesn't deserve to be. So congratulations on that, and I hope you keep doing it.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, it was good. It was good to do that. It was a good race.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
You have a lovely one.
You too. Cheers.
Next into the combox, we will grab our third place finisher, who is a Mr. Sean Shutter. He's muted, so I don't know. Hopefully he's around. Hello, mate.
Hey, howdy. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. How on
Good,
earth
good.
are you doing?
I'm really good.
Yeah, that was your Sean, right?
Yes.
For once, so that I don't get it wrong again, how do I say your surname?
It is Skitter.
Scudder. I'm really sorry. If you watch the race back, I've been calling you Shutter, but Scudder we can do.
It wouldn't be the first time. No.
It's- I couldn't decide on where your surname was from, so I was like, German, sure. That was what a race. First of all, the conditions. Talk me through your emotions from this race.
Definitely still on a half from that one. I mean, really good close racing throughout the whole race with Tristan and Ryan.
Yeah, and the mandatory pit stop. I assume that was probably a welcome for the Porsche.
Yeah, no, definitely, because it does it tends to chew the rear tires out a little quicker than the front, so the balance does go over the nose a bit towards the end of the stint. So yeah, the pit stop couldn't come quick enough.
Yeah, I can well imagine. But that was a hard 4-4 race. You came off on the slightly worse end of the battles, but managed to scrape back a podium. That must have been reassuring, if not a little bit heartbreaking, to see Tristan off on the inside at the last corner.
He really ran a clean race for the whole race, and in like the last 2 minutes, he loops it, and yeah, he's off the podium.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a little heartbreaking seeing that.
But it shows just how competitive this season has been. I know this is your first race, isn't it?
Yeah, on the PC side, yes.
Yeah. But it just goes to show how competitive this season has been. That one small mistake can cost you so much, and we'll talk through that with Tristan when we get him in. But you've benefited from it. First time on the PC and first time on the podium. I'm pretty sure that's a full win for a race night, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I mean, I couldn't have hoped for a better outcome, really.
Awesome. Well, Sean, it's lovely to speak to you. I do hope that I get to speak to you again through the rest of the season. But congratulations on your third position. Congratulations on getting over to the PC side. It's a lot more fun over here. And hopefully I'll see you back here another time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. You have a lovely evening.
All right, you too.
And finally, the last driver who is waiting, who unfortunately, for I think the first time this season, is not on the podium. Tristan Dinnebrega, welcome to the Combox.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, that was an eventful race. I've just found out I was the only guy on wet tires. So
I was reading it while I was interviewing the other drivers. Like, oh no, this should be good.
yep.
So, what was it like on completely different tires to what the rest of the field was on?
Honestly, it wasn't too bad for the first, I'd say, because I stopped after 25 minutes, so my stints were 25 minutes long. I'd say for the first 20 minutes it wasn't bad. It was those last 5 minutes that just absolutely killed me. I just lost all grip, and yeah, I just was ice skating everywhere. So unfortunately, that's what happened at the end. Was just trying to push to keep Barrington Smith behind me, and then yeah, I just couldn't do it anymore. Just had no rubber left. So well done to the boys on the podium. Like you say, first time not finishing on the podium this season, but yeah, not too phased by it. I think if you look at the calculations now for the championship, I think it's pretty much done. So yeah, just out here to have fun, and yeah, well done to the
to Sean Stradham for winning his first race of the season. And yeah, good to see the boys on track, and had some epic battles today. So can't complain. Definitely smiling.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm totally with you, and I may have referred to you as champion elect halfway through the race, because the gap before the points went through is, what was it, 30 points?
I think it was 30 points coming into this, and I think the closest guy to me was Bash, and he unfortunately missed this race. So yeah, I think it is wrapped up, but we can wait for next week, and then see how it goes.
Yeah, 100%. You've definitely given yourself the best possible opportunity to have a nice, relaxing week for the finale of the championship. But actually,
yeah, definitely.
Where is it? It's Kyalami. So you're going home. How do you?
Track.
I was going to say, how do you feel about Kyalami?
Not too bad. I like the track. The layout's awesome. I'm a little bit worried about the pace with the McLaren though. It's not the strongest car around there. I know the Porsche is mighty. The Ferrari's really quick around there. The Audi is, with a good setup, pretty much untouchable. Bentleys are even good there. So it's pretty much every car except for the McLaren. I know the Aston's even quick. So yeah, most of my competitors are all in those cars that I listed now. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But like you say, pressure's off. Just go out, have some fun. I mean, tonight the racing side by side was absolutely awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more battles for the next round.
Yeah, I did say to Ryan, but I'll say the same to you. Absolute maximum commendation for that racing with him. I don't know very many online races, let alone like leagues and series, that you could get away with something like that. So you really were absolutely setting the gold standard for driving for Logistical Nightmare tonight. As an organisation, as well as for yourselves, really was absolutely extraordinarily good racing, even if it wasn't the ideal result for you. But a strong race, running majority of it in third position, if I remember correctly. You leapfrog in the 74 in even before you got to the first corner. Just a bit of a shame that you lost out in the end.
Yeah, it was all that last lap. Like I say, I had no tyres. But yeah, I appreciate that. The racing was really good. And I think, like you say, for sim racing, it's really good to see, because you don't often get to see that. So yeah, just mad respect to the guys that I went wheel to wheel with, especially Ryan. And I think that's why LNR is really something to look at for the future for sim racing, because the guys do respect each other, and we can go racing like that. And it leaves a good feeling. There's nothing bad that happens after the race, and there's no tension. So yeah, it's really awesome, and the community is just so friendly. So it's so good to see, and I'm glad something like this exists.
100%. Well, not the best result for tonight, but I mean, you're all but there on the championship, really, aren't you? So it's all much of a muchness. Tristan, it's been wonderful to be able to speak to you so often through this series, and hopefully I'll get to speak to you one last time before this series rolls out. I
hope so too. That'll be great.
At Kyalami, you have a lovely evening, my friend, and I'll see you
too.
next time.
Great to chat to you. Keep well.
Cheers, man.
Okay.
And so, the penultimate round of the championship draws to a close. The pit boxes are shutting down, and it only leaves me to say thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you are enjoying what we do here at Logistical Nightmare Racing, make sure that you leave a like in the video below. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button to keep abreast of all of the races across all the platforms that Logistical Nightmare Racing are holding at the moment. And if you want to get involved, get over onto the simracing.gp page, get signed up, as I am as well, and take advantage not only of Simracing GP's wonderful championship manager, but just take a look at the standings and how dominant Tristan de Nobrega has been through this championship. 0 wins, but at the... Oh, actually, I might be able to get the updated standings. Yep, 0 wins, but Tristan de Nobrega leads the championship with 153 points to Neil Greening with 121, and Ryan Barrington-Smith in the 74 Audi with 118 in third position. What a way to finish out this race. And we go to Elenar's home circuit of Kyalami next time out, and I can't wait to see you then. Have a very good afternoon or good evening from wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Good night.